Hi Russell, great session again. Swing's coming on really nicely. Just a quick recap of the key points we discussed. First job was to identify the two main issues that you're experiencing. They're only minor. One produces quite an extreme shot pattern, but obviously the actual fix is quite a simple one. First of all, we got the right knee. Really nice transition. Right knee just flexes forward towards the ball. A little bit too much. A little bit of an over flexing of the right knee, lowering the right shoulder, shifting the swing to the right, just moving that low point back a little bit. So we've got a little bit of a miss hit going on occasionally. This would also lead to pushes that are a little bit too large. Not because of the direction of the swing as such, but your reaction to that right knee. Over flexing arms tend to then leave the rib cage a little bit too much on the way through. Club face can close down too quickly, cause the overdraw, etc. So issue number one is a slight over flexing of the right knee. Issue number two will be your heel strike. You can see they're clearly hitting the heel of the golf club. Can manifest itself as a shank if done excessively. We'll look at the difference between the two P6s. When the club is in more at 6 and the swing is directed more to the right, the contact is more centred or even slightly towards the toe. And when the club gets pulled out in front of you during transition and the sweet spot gets on the target line too soon, that's when the heel of the club is presented to the back of the ball. So we want to, during this session, we're trying to control the trajectory of the sweet spot, and we're trying to control what the what the right knee is doing through the hit. So what we've done here is we've straightened the right leg up at P1. We've put a towel down on the mat just to prevent the toe end of the club drifting out, prevent the sweet spot drifting out, etc. Encourage the club to stay in more at P6. The advice is to keep the right knee as straight as you can for as long as you can during the downswing. So in this instance, we're ticking both boxes. We're keeping the club well inside the hands at P6. The right knee does not overflex as before. The low point on these was forward. The strike was really good. Certainly controlling the low point well. What we then talked about was considering the pressure points, arms against the torso, trying to keep those on throughout the hit. Now on this particular swing, the right knee over flexes, we can see that. We didn't strike this particularly well, but the idea here was to just introduce the idea of the pressure points and the way they can be used to just control the exit a little bit, keep the body moving a little bit more continuously throughout the hit. You can see there that the exit of the club is a little bit lower. The extension through the hit, the straightening of the legs, the raising of the belt and the subsequent turning of the body has been enhanced by just introducing the idea of keeping the arms against the torso, popping the glove of the T-pegs under the right arm of the left. You can have it under both. Experiment with which one you prefer. There's very little difference between the two. There are some subtle differences, and some players respond better to pressure point 4 than they do pressure point 5, etc. But in your case, it's just to try and tidy up that through swing just a little bit further. Work on that as you desire, but the main thing is to control the path of the club or the direction of the swing into the ball, preventing the club drifting out in front of the hands. Perfect position at P6, and then preventing that right knee from overflexing, encouraging the low point to stay forward, improving the quality of strike, etc. Super session. Once you understand the importance of, or not once you understand, but once you start to judge yourself a little bit more on face to path relationship, a little bit less on your swing mechanics day to day. You've got a lot of good things in your swing mechanics. The golf's really going to progress for you. Good luck with it. Look forward to speaking soon.